I would like to draw your attention to the Western European market, which is 82% of total sales, and you have dropped in market share from 29 to 25%. I guess you're not very satisfied with that development. Now you want to make an acquisition. Do you have a strength to look at the Western European market, or is it okay to have declining market share?
So to address what our views are for the Western European market is, as you can see from our 3 key strategies, we have, if you can flip back, is right here. We have organic growth, we have inorganic growth, and we have same-store sales growth. And you are absolutely correct. The first 2 are addressing our additional expansion in the number of stores grow and our acquisition in China. But the 3rd strategy, the same-store sales growth, is really targeted towards the more mature markets like Western Europe and other ones we have presence in. So this strategy, which is implementing the e-online system, is supposed to drive the same-store sales growth revenues that we are currently generating. And we hope that through this strategy, we are capturing the market, we're capturing the consumers on a brick and mortar level and also on an online level, and through research studies that we have read, that through multi-channeling, customers are willing to spend 1 times as much as they spend if it was single channeled. So we're confident that this strategy will sustain long-term market share regain and growth in the future.
Could you be more specific on what the strategy is? What's the timeline? What's the initiatives? How do you want to increase market share again?
So building off what Jen described as our online-offline integration strategy, that's how we plan to increase market share. So what happens is consumers right now in most of our mature markets, we only have 8 e-tail stores out of our 38 regions. So places like the USA, like Canada, and some major Western European markets have no e-tail presence at all. So what you have by offering 2 channels is customers will actually spend 2.5 times more when you have well-integrated channels. And so our plan, as I described before, introduce a couple key metrics which we need to adopt best industry practices for by changing our online website and by better integrating it through social technology, through website changes, such as when you order something online, you can also go in-store, pick it up, you see an umbrella or another shirt that you like, you try it on, that's the additional growth that you get. You're stealing that share of the customer wallet that you didn't do before. So that is going to be rolled out consistently, and as you enter new markets, the online store will also be relaunched. So the timeline is starting soon, 6 months, and then going on forward.
I have a question regarding your rollout of the online strategy.
Sure.
In your tier 1, you have countries like China and South Korea where the physical presence is not that great, and therefore the brand is not that known. Do you have any thoughts on how you'll make the online initiative work in those markets?
Sure. So when we made that chart, there were 2 key metrics that we analyzed. The first was internet penetration of the population, so how engaged are users in that population online, as well as their size in the apparel online market. So how much are they actually buying? The second metric that we looked at was how big H&M's presence was in those markets, as you alluded to before. And so by cross-referencing those, we believe that we can actually capture greater growth by having an e-tail store, which is relatively low risk, in your markets where you don't have so many brick-and-mortar stores. So South Koreans, they're online all the time. They can go into H&M, look at your new books, your new lookbooks, buy some clothing, and then also go to the brick-and-mortar store. But if you only had your brick-and-mortar stores, you wouldn't be able to get that additional revenue.
Raw material prices and inflation in this industry is at a totally different level today than for the past 20 years. Is this an issue for the company? If so, how should they deal with this? Should they raise prices, or should they look at operational efficiencies? And if so, how?
30 seconds?
So,
okay. So, for those of you who don't know, the price of a raw ton of cotton is $250, which is 5 times what it was 20 years ago. What we see the best strategy is that cotton is going to rise across the board. The whole ocean's going to rise, and everyone with boats in it is going to go with it. So what we see as the best way to do that is to make our organization leaner, and that's with your Better Cotton initiative that you've substantially invested in, making more of the fibers more sustainable, therefore decreasing costs in the supply chain there. But also, there is going to be some price increase that's going to be moved on to the consumers, which we assume that all of your competitors will do because their margins are thinner than ours.
Thank you very much.